Welcome back to Escape Reality Star Wars Talk. I'm your host, Caleb.
Hi, I'm Seth. I talk Star Wars with this man.
He's laughing because this is our second time doing the intro for this one because I hit record, but we weren't getting audio.
Yeah.
So, y'all missed a whole conversation. We're not going to go back over it.
Yep.
We're going to move on.
Point is, aliens confirmed real.
Oh, okay. So that was that. I was going to continue with that part. So, but they missed the other conversation. Yep. That they don't get. But no Star Wars news this week, so we're just going to talk about what we've been up to and then get into the main topic. So, like I was saying in the previous recording, I've been continuing my X-Files binge. I'm on season 2 now. By the end of season 1 is when they confirm aliens. Because the way the show in season 1 plays is these things are somewhat real, but there's like maybe a scientific explanation depending on what the thing is. The ghosts, there are no scientific explanation. There are just ghosts. But only Mulder gets to see them. Scully never sees like the more fantastical elements. If there's something that's fantastical, there's usually a scientific explanation if Scully sees it. Until aliens. Because throughout the first season, Mulder is getting like spoilers for a really old show, by the way. I guess if for anybody who cares, this is a spoiler warning for a show from 92, 93. That's so
It's 30 years ago.
it's older than me by only a couple years. So yeah, Mulder has a contact that's named Deep Throat, which yes is a reference to that Deep Throat from the Watergate scandal and all that stuff. And he is consistent. He works in the FBI as well, and he's like a consistent like, hey, here's some freaky stuff going on.
Go look into it.
Yeah. And he also like helps confirm a lot of the stuff that and is trying to help Mulder get evidence of the weird stuff that the government's up to, but usually the evidence gets destroyed in some way, and that's why the X-Files show keeps happening, because they can't prove the government's doing anything.
That, like at one point they probably just spilled coffee on like a floppy disk.
Usually it's like electrical storm takes out something, or the fantastical element causes some sort of reaction, is the evidence they have, right? Or in the case of the season 1 finale, Scully actually sees a baby alien. Because it turns out the government has been putting alien DNA into people and experimenting on them that way.
All right. And
then Deep Throat, Mulder gets kidnapped by like the Black Ops government people that know about this. And this is after like Mulder like yeah. So Mulder gets kidnapped. And like at this point Scully knows about Deep Throat, so like Deep Throat's in contact with both of them, and it's like, hey, Mulder got taken by these guys, but the reason that the only way we can get him free is if we have leverage on them and do a swap. So the plan is steal from what they call Project Unity or something like that. Project Purity, that's what it is. Purity. And they basically take the alien out of the test site, so that way, and Scully gets to see it, which is why it's weird that she's still a skeptic by the time of season 2. Once season 2 happens, like your skepticism should be out the window, because even in season 2 they bring up Project Purity again, and she's like, there's no proof that was an alien. What the? You looked at it. You're gonna tell me that what you saw was not an alien? Oh, it's not the dumbest thing in season 2, by the way.
Oh man.
And it's not even Scully related. The dumbest thing in season 2 is an episode I just watched. Well, let me finish the alien thing. So Scully goes with Deep Throat to bring him the thing, and she's like, "What the fuck is going on?" He's like, "No, you gotta leave, because I'm supposed to meet alone with the contact. You gotta leave." And so as she's pulling away, the contact shows up, shoots Deep Throat, killing him on the spot. Takes the baby alien back. So it's back in the government control. And then he releases Mulder, so Scully is able to save Mulder, but Deep Throat, it's okay. They get a new contact in season 2,
Oh, great.
just known as X. We don't ever learn, at least in season 1 and 2 so far, we don't learn what Deep Throat's real name was. We just know he was high up in the government, and that's it. But we also, by season 2, confirm who, like, one of the main bad guys are. Because throughout the first season, there's this guy that they eventually just dubbed Cancer Man, because he's just always smoking. Or the Smoking Man is what it's, like, referred to in the book I'm reading. So it's either the Smoking Man or Cancer Man. And which is funny, because even in the 90s, we're like, yeah, smoking's going to cause that.
Well, yeah.
I mean, we've known it for a while, but, like, it's weird to acknowledge it in the 90s.
For cigarettes is fucking cancer sticks, and it's been that way since
I know, but
50s.
it's weird to acknowledge it, though, in a show, because, like, in most shows, they wouldn't acknowledge that, right? Even in the 90s, they wouldn't really acknowledge that, right? It is interesting that they do, like, are acknowledging that a little bit more. But in a weird, sick joke, making fun of the bad guy. Because they don't know his name. They're like, we don't know his name, so he's just Cancer Man. Season 2, Scully gets... Oh, more reason Scully should believe in this alien stuff. She gets abducted by aliens. She's brought back, but she gets abducted. And she's gone for a few episodes. And it's mostly because the actress was pregnant at the time. So they had to have a reason to write her off the show. Because they didn't want to fire her. They're like, we like working with you, but we also realize that this is a thing. So we're just going to write you off for a few episodes, let you have a chance to have your baby, and then come back.
Yeah.
And so they do that for a few episodes in season 2 where she's gone. It's okay, though, because Mulder has a new partner, at least for the first few episodes of season 2. But then it turns out he works for Cancer Man.
No.
So, yeah. And then he dies. He mysteriously just disappears. He's killed. Obviously. I mean.
No, the Cancer Man got him.
He got discovered, so, you know, he couldn't stay alive. But they can't kill Mulder because they don't want... They specifically don't want to kill him because they realize that if they kill somebody who is so, like, pursuant after them... That's going to just raise more awareness to their existence.
Yep. Like, we should get rid of this guy. It's like, we can't.
Like, everybody knows he's after a secret cabal, and if he just mysteriously died...
Then that's a hard confirmation that there's a mysterious cabal. So, no, we can't kill him.
At least Dana Scully's out of the equation for now, until she comes back. And then... Oh, no, but the dumbest thing in season 2 so far. So they go to this... It's actually a really poorly written episode as well, because, like, it deals with some pretty tough topics.
Yeah.
Like, rape.
Right.
And it's just like, And it doesn't... It's not written the best, because only Scully believes this poor woman's story, because the story is that she was assaulted by a invisible figure. Also, it's a weird episode in that they don't confirm or even, like, have a guess of what happened and why, like, there were ghosts around this facility. So, anyways, it's a facility for older people. It's for Alzheimer's and special care, special care.
Yeah.
But it's, like, run down because, like, government pulled some of its funding. Anyways, the lady who runs this place does not know her own building or what is going on in this place.
Why would she...
Because at one point they ask her where the water main is. So because Mulder and the woman who was assaulted, they get locked in the showers, and the water is just flooding the room. And so Scully's like, "Hey, I need to. Where's the water main so I can shut off the water?" The lady who runs this building doesn't know. Like. I could get not knowing every little corner, but that's an important room to know in case of an emergency, such as what's going on here. She also doesn't know, like, that one of the guys is farming, like, mushrooms in the basement. She doesn't know that, because he's using them as, like, a special treatment, which is, like, enhancing the older people, so that way they're, like, having less of the Alzheimer's symptoms. Although they think it's another doctor's medicine that's doing it, but it's really the mushrooms doing that and making it to where they don't really have as much of the symptoms. Like, there's one that's an artist, and he starts doing really well at drawing again now that he's, like, been taking these mushrooms.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's such
a wild episode.
It's a wild episode that I feel like goes nowhere.
Yeah.
Because they don't solve any of the crimes, but they stop, like the ghosts stop happening randomly. They stop, and it's like they just stop, and it's just like, but like one of the people that they thought could have been behind, like one of the older people they thought was behind the assaults, he died. And so they were like, and that's when the ghost stopped. And so maybe he was part of it, but like, no, the mushrooms are still around. So like, if it's the mushrooms that are making these old people able to do these things, what?
I feel like this is one that I would have to watch to understand the level of frustration.
It's dumb. And I like, because I've been reading the Wikipedia articles, like, to kind of see, okay, is this a Monster of the Week episode, or is this more lore-centric? And it's a Monster of the Week episode for that one. But it's just, like, as I read them, I also can see, like, how people, like, received the episode. Boy, was this one not liked. A lot of it has to do, like, one person, like, somebody who literally wrote the book on the X-Files, because they wrote a book about each episode and kind of delving into it. They go that this episode is a 1 out of 5, but could have been better if they executed, like, an ending better. Also, maybe, in my opinion, if they didn't use a male director for such a heavy topic such as that, and also having only Dana Scully believe the poor victim, it's like... Not even Mulder, who is normally pretty level-headed at being on victim sides for things. Like, that's literally, like, most of the Monster of the Week episodes. It's Mulder, like, being concerned about the victim of these circumstances, not... Like, he wants to obviously get evidence of these weird phenomenons, but he's usually there to help the victim first. So it's weird that this was not an episode like that.
Got a bunch of just weird shit going on in this episode. Characterization is off kilter.
Yeah, it's a little weird. So it was a tough watch on that episode, but I'm past that now, and so I'm already almost halfway through season 2. So, which is good because like right now it's like 25 episodes for season 2. Also outside of that, finished Black Butler.
Oh yeah,
or at least up till the current.
All caught up?
Up till the current arc. We haven't started the current arc yet, so we're going to wait. Britt wanted to wait till the arc ends. They're in the school arc.
Alright.
So, she wanted to wait till that's done before we watch it. And I'm going to make her watch more Highlander soon. So.
Alright.
Your turn. So, I took up 13 minutes, so it's your turn.
So, couple of things. So the internet stopped working at my house for a couple of days.
Okay.
This didn't particularly affect me. Mostly because, like, Tori, Andrew, and Kinsey and the rest of them, they like to play online games with other people. I don't. So I wasn't affected by that. And I also wasn't affected by it because I remembered I downloaded, like, the night before the comic and the story we were supposed to read.
Yay!
Woo. Thank God I did that. The other thing... So, our router just decided, nope.
So it was a router issue?
Yeah. And to give you an idea about, like, how we knew something was wrong is that all of the lights on it came on consistently flashing, and all of them were red.
Yeah, that's usually not a good sign for a router.
And so after we went and looked through a bunch of problems, and the conclusion we came to was like, oh, this it's just fucked.
So did y'all have to get a new router?
We had to get a new one.
Okay.
So that happened. Mom was down here for a while.
Yep. We talked about that last week, but
Yep.
so I got to say hi after the show. I saw her after.
Other thing that me and Chris stayed up last night and we watched the Cowboy Bebop movie because I was able to find a copy of it.
Oh, the live
Nope, not the live action.
Oh, okay. I heard the live action isn't too bad.
It's an experience.
I heard it's like okay, like it's for an anime, like anime to live action, it's okay. Because like that tends to be
it's okay.
It tends to be a tough transition for a lot of animes, but usually that's because for some reason they really like to pick the weird, super out there anime to do that with, rather than like the more grounded stuff.
Which defeats
the purpose of it being an anime, because like the whole point is that you can do pretty much it's the same reason why I think animation can sometimes be superior, is because your imagination can really run wild and you can do whatever. Same thing with anime. But then to try to take that kind of thinking and put it into live action is a little harder.
Which is also a little bit weird because...
But also like one of the weirdest shows ever is a really good live action with One Piece, from what I hear.
That is... It's one of the ones where, because One Piece is kind of wacky to begin with, not bad, mind you, just a little bit wacky.
But that's the charm of it, from what I understand. I've not personally watched it. But from what I understand, the charm of it is how wacky it is, and also that it's got good heart to it.
I was discussing this with Chris while we were watching the movie about like why I like the setting of Cowboy Bebop as well. Because Cowboy Bebop is like a sci-fi setting.
It's Blade Runner, sort of.
No,
I mean, with more space. With more space. Yeah, it's got that kind of
Yes, it is a bit dystopian, but
that's
it's
what
like
I mean. That's what I meant, really, by that.
I was like trying to compare it to like, it's not as fantastical as Star Wars.
Yeah.
It doesn't like there is some mysticism involved in a couple of times, but generally it's not.
It's
like
mostly
that.
science heavy,
and it's not as science heavy as one would imagine.
No, like it's not Star Trek science heavy, but it's not Star Wars in terms of fantasy either.
Yeah,
like it's somewhere more in the middle.
Like it's nowhere near Star Trek. Like, you go to convenience stores in Cowboy Bebop that are not like, ooh, look at all the high-tech automated bullshit.
Because capitalism is still a thing.
Yeah. But everything is like run down and shitty.
Yeah. So like I like it. I've seen most of the show. So. But sounds like that was pretty much your...
It is good. That's what I did last night. We're going through inventory at work. Because it's inventory week, so we're dealing with that. We have the district manager come in to look over some stuff. And like, as I was clocking out yesterday, he's like, hey, do you want some more hours? I just went, nope, and left.
It's very Office Space.
Because work life and home life it's very important to me to keep those separate.
Yeah.
Like, I don't hate my coworkers. They're pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, I show up, I clock in, I do the work for the allotted amount of time, and I go home. At the end of it.
Have you ever watched Office Space?
No. Or if I have, it's probably been on in like the background.
You probably know the clip though with Lumberg with the where he's like, I'm gonna need you to go ahead and come in on Sunday too. But like, there's a clip though. There's a bit of it where the main character just ignores him and walks by because he's like, his personality's been shifted because he had a therapy where they did some hypnosis therapy.
Yeah.
And so he's more chill now, and so he just walks past him as Lumberg's like, "Hey, can you come in on?" Yeah, it's this guy. Yeah. You've probably seen clips of him because like there's just and the TPS reports bit as well. Have those TPS reports for us this afternoon. But yeah, no, I just thought of that because I was like, oh, yeah, he's just walking by. He just said, nope. I started playing LA Noire as well.
Oh yeah, how's that going?
It's been a minute since I played it, so I'm enjoying it. I do have a little bit of a cheat sheet showing me some of the clues that you would normally miss, so that way I can like pick up all the clues and get the trophies for it. So that's more for me time. That's less for the stream. Although I finished Vice City Stories for the stream.
Oh yeah.
Woo! Vice City Stories, my favorite one, done.
Right.
So now on to Vice City proper. We are going to use the definitive edition, which is like it's the remake version that they did recently that a lot of people didn't like at first. It's gotten better. I played a little bit of Vice City definitive edition. It looks fine. Like, I think Vice City works the best with the look that they went with, where they get that cartoonish but more real, like more 3D looking, like there's like it's hard to explain the look, but it's very bright. And I think it works for Vice City specifically because Vice City already is a very bright game because it's like Miami. It's supposed to be like Miami Vice. It's it's that the neon colors and the bright T-shirts and the Miami Beach. It's Vice City. It's supposed to be Miami Vice, and I think it works with Vice City. But I'm scared to see how it looks with like the other games like San Andreas, where that doesn't quite fit the vibe. Like it's not San Andreas isn't as bright of a game in my like it's not supposed to be as bright of a color game, if that makes sense. Like shouldn't be as vibrant as I'm showing him a picture. Like that's pretty vibrant for San Andreas. A game that's about corrupt cops and gang violence and how that affects poorer populations. It doesn't quite work. It doesn't feel the right vibe, if that makes sense. And so because that's the next game after I finish Vice City anyway, because that's the first game in the 90s, because we're still in the 80s with the Vice City games, because it's 84 and then 86, I think, is the... And so I test ran some Vice City Definitive Edition just to get a handle of it again, and also to like get out of the control mindset of a PSP to PS5, because I was using the PSP version of Vice City Stories. And so no L2 or R2, so just L1 and R1. So that's definitely a change. And then there's a few other games that I've been kind of on my own messing around with. Empire of Sin, been replaying that again. It's kind of like a mobster, almost like Civilization, in that you can talk to other like mob gangs and like make alliances and trade, but also it's a 4X game. It's also like combined with like what's that strategy combat, like Alien XCOM. It's got like XCOM combat as well. So, like, you have a squad of 4 gangsters, your guy, and then, like, 3 people that you can hire to be on your combat team. And you go, like, trying to take over businesses, go building to building, take out the competition, take over the business, and then you decide what the business is going to be. And you can, like, build it up and upgrade it. And so it's like 1920s. One of the people you can play as because they have real people that you can play as. You can play as Al Capone,
Right.
but I did not. I'm not playing as him. I'm actually this close to starting a gang war with him because I want to take that territory that he's got. But right now I think I'm in trade with him. So like yeah, it's like I'm yeah. I know I'm giving some of my bootlegs to one person for some money, and so. Yeah, so there's trading like Civilization, but then it's got the combat of XCOM. I kind of like it. I like it. I like that because I feel like that's a good blend. I feel like that's a blend that works. Weirdly enough, like it's a weird blend, but it's one that works once you like sit down and play it. But yeah, so that's everything we've been up to. Let's kind of just dive into today's subject because we are 25 minutes in. So, I don't know which one we want to talk about first, but spoiler warning for the Tales from the Occlusion Zone Pathogen and High Republic Shadows of Starlight comic. Occlusion Zone, of course, being a short story. Let's do the short story because that's on the forefront because I read that last.
Okay. Yeah.
And
so did I.
I know Shadows of Starlight technically takes place before because it covers the year gap. From different character perspective, we could talk about either one and either. Let's talk comic, I guess, because it happened first. I like how the format of it. I know it's a little weird, but it's also a miniseries. The format is take a character and kind of follow their year trajectory and see like what happened in that year. I forget who was first. Was it Elzar that they did first, or? No, Elzar was like second or third.
Yeah.
They saved Elzar for a bit later because they didn't want. I think they didn't want us to. They didn't want us to see the rest of that conversation between him and Avar right away. Because there's that conversation that I talked about when we did the Eye of Darkness review. I was like, oh, we get more of that in this comic, and because remember they referenced that conversation of when they split up when Avar was like, oh, I'm going to the Occlusion Zone, and Elzar was like, what?
What the fuck?
We just got back to being in the same room as each other, and you're gonna leave.
Yeah.
And of course, much like once again, Eye of Darkness, we see more of the Elzar's like attempts to like break through to the Occlusion Zone and communicate, which is something that we saw in Eye of Darkness as well. Shadows of Starlight, though, really kind of works as like here's what happened in a year, and it also like crosses over the most with everything else.
Yeah.
Because it's like it does go past the year for a lot of it, but it doesn't like go too far. Oh yeah, the first one is more of just a grand like what's going on with the Jedi as a whole.
The Guardian protocols are active.
Yep. And we get a little bit of Wreath's point of view, but we get a little bit of everybody's.
Yeah.
We see them start to decide to do the most boring lightsaber design ever because they're like, oh, it's easy, it's just quick and sleek, and we know it works.
They're like,
it's good for combat. That's about it.
They're like, it doesn't matter what it looks like as long as it keeps them alive.
And so they're like, this is the easiest lightsaber to teach people to build. Let's do that. Which also Elzar, strangely enough, is the one that already has that design. He's the most boring out of our three mains. Because, I mean, we saw Stellan's. He had a pretty awesome one. He had the crossguard. And then Avar's is also interesting. And then Elzar's just like, yeah, that's too much work.
He's like, fuck that. I just needed to work.
We see the dead or alive posting or the mission missing in action posting. And we get some confirmation for a lot of people, which is great. Like, when you zoom in, you're like, oh, this person's alive, great. This person's missing or dead. We see, for example, we see Stellan dead. We see Wreath's... Comac is still alive. We get... And it's a lot of confirmation for some dead and alive, because a lot of people are like, oh, is this person dead or alive? We get, I forget his name, but he appears in the mainline comic, too. So we see more of that payoff. We know Avar. We know they still have oh, what's his name from the younger books? Emery. They still have Emery alive.
Yep.
Because currently it's a situation of we don't know if he's dead or not. So a lot of the Blues are missing in action as well as alive.
Yep.
So whereas
assumed to be alive.
Yeah, assumed to be alive. Whereas the Reds are confirmed dead. Load and Great Storm is among them, and among the confirmed dead. So is the Jedi Master, the one that was in charge of the Starlight. He's in Young Jedi Adventures.
Fuck. What's his name?
I'm gonna cheat a bit.
He's dead.
Yeah, he's dead. Which we kind of knew. I think we had confirmed that, but this doubles down on the confirmation. He's like the Jedi liaison or whatever. I forget what his actual role was. He was like second in command under Avar. I usually know his name. Like, it usually comes right to mind because I love him. Astala.
Astala Maru.
Yeah, yep. Astala Maru. Yeah, I love Astala. So it's kind of like it's kind of upsetting that it's doubled down that he's dead. Yeah. So yeah, and so Reith is looking at that board, and then of course he's the first to be like, somebody creepy is coming here with Yoda. Who the fuck is this? And it's good old, if you want to take
Aslan Rail.
Yeah. Good old Aslan Rail. Who has just completely fallen dark side. Like he looks like an evil Sith. Like the man radiates Sith energy. He just takes off Jedi cloak and it's nope. Sith energy. But he's not a Sith.
Yep.
He's just crazy.
He's just nuts.
To the point that he destroys a city, which we saw the consequences of. I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna get explained of why he's in this jail, and then now there's the explanation is like letting that city get destroyed so that way they could take out the Nameless and get information on it. And Yoda's like, wait, what?
Aslan's like, don't you understand? This is the only way.
Yeah. And so we got the explanation for why he was arrested by the time of the which book was it? Was it the Defy the Storm he was in? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, Defy the Storm he shows up. And so we got that. And then that's the first issue essentially. Second issue focuses on Elzar. We talked about that. We get the conversation between him and Avar of her leaving, and Elzar coming really close to telling her how he felt again. Mm-hmm. We get the cute flashbacks to the best friendship ever that's destroyed by the Nihil. Yep. Once again, showing Avar and Elzar and Stellan have way better lightsaber designs than Elzar. Elzar went the Anakin route with the lightsaber. And so the rest of issue 2 is basically Elzar and Avar doing different things to help where they're at. So Avar's trying to help with the Occlusion Zone, something we see more of in Eye of Darkness. We see the results of that helping, where in Eye of Darkness, which is that her presence is a little more known by the Nihil by that point. Elzar, of course, trying to reach out and successfully eventually does after really pushing it. Yeah. Like, he goes a little too far at certain points where the droid's like, hey, maybe you shouldn't do this. He's like to the point that the droid uses Stellan's lightsaber to destroy one of the devices, and Elzar's like, why the fuck did you do that? And the droid's like, you told me to act like Stellan, so he would do this if you were doing this.
Elzar tried to make a shortwave radio, and it just was not working. And so he was like, alright, fuck this.
We're gonna just break into the occlusion zone, essentially.
Yeah. Essentially, we'll just use sublight travel. And the droid was like, that's
Stupid.
not gonna work.
That's stupid.
Here, I was able to, like, recollect the pieces from earlier, so it should work properly this time.
Yeah. Issue 3 is Bell Zettifar going through it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, God, you got your buddy back only for you to be so angry about everything going on and be so hurt, which is fair, but also it sucks seeing you like this.
There's been a couple of people that have been hurt in the High Republic, but Bell is up there.
Yeah. Like, Bell is so frustrated with everything. Like, Bell is full on, like, I'm a fight anybody that gets in my way angry.
Anybody and everybody.
As usual, Ember is the best girl, though.
Mm-hmm.
Ember is great charhound. We get confirmation Indira's fine. Not the best shape.
In the best shape, but she's alive.
She's alive. She's recovering. Honestly, Bell Zettifar's new hairstyle and beard, I love it, actually.
Mm.
And then he cuts it, and I'm like, it kind of were. Like, I liked his shaggy, like, I liked it. I thought it was a good design for him, but I also like this. It's not the clean cut. It's because, like, during his angry searching for his buddy, he grows out his hair and he grows out his beard, and I kind of like it. It kind of works for him, honestly. I don't know how you feel character design wise on how they look, how he looks, but I
think Brialga is just relieved because he's like, oh, now my friend doesn't match the picture.
Oh yeah, because
that's the interpretation I took from it.
Well, I just meant just character design wise. Did you like?
I have no strong feelings about it either way.
Yeah, I like Burry's design. Burry's design is great.
Is, like, tired and finally like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, but I mean just like design wise, how he look, like not just the eye, like the eyes. Yeah, that's definitely a tell. But like I like the way his he has the way he's beaded his and like I just like the way he looks. I appreciate good character design, and I think they did really well with this comic. Of course, we see what happened to Veeder and how he got caught.
Yeah.
Because we know his fate, but now we know how he got caught. He basically pulled I will hold them back while you get away. Yeah. And he actually pretty much almost did. Like, that man almost took out so many of them.
Yep.
But then they cheated. Yeah. As Nihil do. So. And then issue 4 is...
oh, man.
That's our...
speaking of designs for, like,
character.
sabers.
Oh, sabers. Yeah.
I really do like Burry's design.
Oh, yeah. Burry's saber design is great. And then issue 4, we hit our buddy the Eye.
Yep.
We get...
Markion's like, woo!
I've won, but now what?
Yeah.
He's in that crisis mode of, now what do I do?
I did it. Fuck.
Like, because we've talked about this. The problem with Markion is he's a nihilist, but he's also a, like, anarchist. And it's just like, he wants anarchy, but also he's been forced into this position where he's had to make a government.
Yep.
Which is the exact opposite of anarchy.
I hate this so much.
Like, in order for things to work, he has to have, like, a formal, like, government. Mm. But then it's like, but I don't want that. I just want to destroy shit.
Yep.
And it doesn't help that his girlfriend is pushing him more into it. Or, not really girlfriend. His friends with benefits. And saying friends with benefits is putting it nicely, because she's really just with benefits part. They're not really friends. And so, like, we do see a lot of, like, the fact that Markion is being kind of played in this, because, like, that is the weird part about that relationship, is that Markion should be the one in charge of this relation. Like, you would think in the power dynamic Markion would have the control, but he doesn't.
He doesn't, because he doesn't care.
No. But but the problem is that you do see that it is affecting him not having that control within this dynamic. Like, Gira gets pretty much anything she wants just by saying, hey, we're going to do this. Now, Markion does stand up for himself a couple times, but not in this. We see it in the book more than we do here. Here, it's a lot of him just kind of going with it, and we just see that it breaks him more the more he goes with it.
He's like, man, can I go back to doing, like, evil shit, please?
Gira's like, sure, but within a government.
Fuck, fine. That's about how the conversation goes.
Yeah. And so, like, we see the establishment of, like, getting the generals, and we see the thing that they mention in the book, which is that General Weiss. We see how she betrayed the planet that she was in charge of.
My thing, right, is she's like, oh, I think I'm out of the mercenary game. And I'm like, you are a fucking liar. Not just, like, I have the benefit of foresight into the future, but even if I was one of the fuckers in that room, I'm like, yeah, you sure are with your fucking battle armor and weapons.
Well, she's still a general. An active one at that.
That is true. Especially, but I'm also like, look at her. She looks shady.
Hey now, not all mercenaries are shady.
I would know.
You play a lot of them. But yeah, no, General Weiss, though, is...
Like, right there.
Is very... Oh, yeah,
that is...
Well, that's lighting. That's... He's pointing out an image of her that's a close-up of her face.
But then again,
and it has, like, the half...
on that moment.
Yeah, it's got the half shade where you can't see her face. That's lighting and shade. That doesn't count towards being shady. That's
also, she has a history
lighting.
of, like...
But she has a history of betraying people and killing Jedi.
Yeah.
I was gonna bring up that. I was gonna bring up
resume.
I was gonna bring up she's the High Republic's General Grievous.
Oh yes, she is.
Lightsaber collecting, wants to kill Jedi just to get those. Has a very specific Jedi animosity with one particular Jedi. Yeah, it's General Grievous. It's General Grievous. The only thing she's missing is being an android, or a cyborg rather. That's all she's missing. It's being a cyborg. Which, after that explosion, maybe that's...
Maybe.
Because we know that she survives, probably. Actually, no, we know she survives, because it's confirmed. In, Defy the Storm, right? It was Defy the Storm that confirmed that she lived. They don't mention how she recovered or not. They just mention she's alive, but they don't mention how she is. So, she could be a cyborg now. I'm also not caught up on all the comics, though, so that's probably also... So yeah, we issue 4 is interesting, and we meet.
It's essentially Markion going around and recruiting people for his government because Kira asked him to.
Yeah, it's basically the setup for his phase 3, and like him probably going mad more than he already is, in the terms of crazy mad, not. Also realizing that maybe they're being spied on. But...
Oh, I didn't read that way.
Well, it also is just... Markion's a dick to everything, but... Yeah. I think he does plan to inevitably kill Gira, get her out of the way, just so that way he can finally destroy things again. Because at the end of the issue, he goes, conquest, destruction, what I leave behind. I think he wants to go back to that. And so I think it's gonna inevitably end with him doing that again. And so that was Shadows of Starlight, essentially. I think it really does a good job of exploring each of the chosen topics. One being a wider Jedi issue, 2 being Elzar. 3 being kind of both Burry and...
Yeah. Because it covers Bell's search for Elzar.
Alright, you mean Burry. Bell's search for Burry.
You're right. I'm sorry. Bell and Elzar do have a conversation at the start of it.
It's Elzar's going, hey, you should give up. And Elzar and Bell being like, no, I've given up so many times, and it turns out y'all are wrong.
It's like, hey, you're a bunch of... Fuck you.
Every time I give up because y'all tell me to, it turns out I shouldn't have. And so...
I'm never listening to you guys again.
And then, of course, the setup of... Pretar Vidar's death.
Yep.
And then, of course, we get a Markion issue. And so I think, for what it is, it's an 8.5.
I will say, and this has nothing to do with
because it serves its purpose.
This has nothing to do with how I'm going to rate it. I do like the design of the Nihil captain that captures Vader.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I like that too. But yeah, it's, I think 8.5.
Oof.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Okay.
What are you thinking though?
Yeah, I'll give it an 8.
Yeah, like it serves its purpose for what it is. I'm not expecting it to be the grand telling of what's going on in Phase 3. This is here's what you need to know to set you up for Phase 3.
It's great for catching you up to speed on important things.
Yeah, like if you, especially because like the gap between phases 1 and 3, and so you might have forgotten some of the story arcs going on, and so
essentially it goes Guardian protocols, Elzar and Avar, not
kind of on the rocks.
On the rocks. Bell found Burry. Markion is dissatisfied.
He'll never be satisfied. He's Hamilton. Evil Hamilton.
Evil Hamilton.
But yeah. So that was Shadows of Starlight. Let's jump into Tales from the Occlusion Zone Pathogen, which is going to be a little bit even shorter than that rundown. Can I just jump to the end?
Yeah, sure.
Tarpon's alive.
Yeah, Tarpon is alive.
That is
surprising.
Wild.
I remember getting to the end of it, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, Gal Tarpon is alive.
Like, we didn't see her die.
No.
But it's a case of, where the fuck did she go?
Well, she was captured by the Nihil, obviously.
Mm.
Because she was on a Nihil prison ship. Yep. God damn it, that means I'm going to have to be nice to Gal again. Because there was that whole arc for me where I was like, oh, Gal gets what they deserve for betraying. And then it's like, oh, actually rereading, no, Gal was actually doing the right thing. Fuck.
Yeah.
And now it's even worse because it's like, oh, you've been imprisoned all this time for a year?
Yeah.
God.
Like, oh,
no. So last time we left off with the Adrians and crew, they had teamed up. Adrians had teamed up with another pair of RDC people that were out here, and they were basically trying to decide whether or not to go to a prison ship because they got a message basically asking for help, and basically the plan was save that person, but also take the Nihil path engine, because then we can get out of here.
Then we can leave.
But it was between that or going to Ryloth, I think.
I think so, yeah.
For because they need fuel as well. But also, if they steal the prison ship, then maybe they don't need the fuel, depending on the status of the ship.
Yeah.
But we see the ship. It's a 3-1 vote with, ironically, Joss, who was for going on that ship initially, voting against it.
Yep.
Because he changed his mind, because he was like, wait, I don't want my wife near that.
Yep. Additional context is
Pika being pregnant.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a very important thing to remember.
It's probably
Which is mainly the main reason why Joss is like, I would rather that we didn't do this.
Even though I'm the one that was originally for it. And it was my idea to take a vote.
He's like, I didn't fucking want you to agree with me.
Except we know that they usually can tell what the other person's gonna be, which is why it's wild that he didn't. in that particular issue, I found it wild that he did not pick up that she was going to be for this, because like in the first issue of this arc, they basically were like, oh yeah, most of the time they can tell when the other person is for something. So it's kind of weird that this. I think we're seeing a little bit of a strain in the relationship just because Joss is stressed. This isn't
something he would normally.
No, this isn't a long-term issue. Like I don't. We're getting relationship drama for the sake of relationship drama, but it also fits considering the situation they're in. It is not a situation of Josh is a bad guy for doing this. It is a case of he's just acting out of his norm because of wild circumstances.
Yeah. He's like, additional context, they were going to go on a fucking vacation before this shit happened.
And this was supposed to just be a pick and run. Like, this was just supposed to be a quick run.
Which has turned into not that.
Yeah, they were just supposed to pick somebody up and leave, essentially.
Yeah.
And now that's become, we are now in the occlusion zone because it grew around us.
Yep.
And here we are.
We also get a little bit more of an explanation of the dynamic between the like lab research guy and soldier lady, whose names I wish I could remember, but to be honest, I don't care about them.
I'll pull it up.
Ironically, and the droid they're traveling with, who is named 6N, I think.
Yeah, that's the short name. Yeah, it's C06N or something like that.
Yeah. And 6N is not help.
Visma is the one you're thinking is the more stern one, and then it's
Elping is the researcher.
Elping is the researcher. Yeah.
Visma is the soldier.
Yeah. But they're both part of the RDC though. But yeah, Visma's more stern and more like very mercenary like in that she's like, it's all business and I don't want to hear anything about your personal life. I don't care.
And Elping is like, that's a sad existence.
He's kind of right. And then I like that in this one.
It's like, oh, now I understand.
I do like that in this one, though. We see the dynamic kind of shift between the two of them. Because normally we've learned that the dynamic is Visma's in charge and Strictly in charge. But now we get to see Elping kind of switch that and kind of be like, hey, I'm the medical one, and I'm the highest ranked medical officer here. So in terms of medical advice, you're going to shut up and listen.
Yep.
Because he tells them to wear, like, a suit because they're like, we don't know what's on the ship. There could be...
he's like, put on the hazmat suit.
Yeah.
Also, one of us needs to stay here anyway.
And they pick... protocol. They pick Pika because...
For obvious reasons.
Obvious reasons, because Elping finds out about obvious reasons. He finds it because he accidentally pulls it up. He's like... They're like, how'd you find out? He's like, you left your scans on.
You basically left your...
You left your tabs open.
Yeah.
He's like, I was going to tell you to close them for privacy's sake, but I didn't have the time.
Yeah. I was busy doing the other part of my job.
And so, it turns out it's a good
thing. Hit minimize and went to work.
It's a good thing, though, that he told them to wear the suits, because it turns out, there's something on the ship. Yeah. We don't know what yet. We still don't really learn what it is. They're just like, it's a strange residue that's all over the ship. It's like this white thing.
I'm thinking it's the same stuff that, like, fucked up that planet.
It could be.
Because we know Bulin is, like, into weird science shit, so he probably made it here and then released it on,
It was probably, like, originally just, like, on single individuals, though. It probably was like, oh, we're going to test it on this one subject, and then it got loose.
Yeah. Wait, you mean to tell me you don't think Bulin would do it on multiple people?
Well, he might. I would think he would do it on like
one at a time.
Yes. I was thinking...
I think once it got done here, he just didn't care, so...
Or there was some sort of haste, it was like a speedy cleanup job, and it wasn't done properly. And so... Because I do think he would want to make sure he does it correctly for study's sake, not for any good reason. Like, I would think it would be so that way for the sake of research, I want to do it right, not for the sake of the people, obviously. Because I don't think he would just...
Baron Bulin, notoriously interested in the benefits of the people.
I don't think he would, like, just release it on the ship, necessarily. like what I believed you were suggesting. I don't know if that is what you were suggesting, but that's how it came off to me, anyways.
I was more suggesting like, oh, he just did it
yeah.
one at a time, and then
Okay,
was
so
like,
we're on the same page then.
Yeah, and then like once at the end of it, he was like, okay, I got what I wanted. I don't care anymore.
And so it was probably like a quick cleanup job.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a proper like, hey, let's make sure we get everything off that we don't need.
Yeah. Gal's alive. Not sure for how long though.
Yeah, and so Gal, they find Gal covered
Which
in.
It's very.
Because isn't Gal covered in that stuff
She's
too?
like half covered in it, and I'm like, oh man, this
Yeah.
is a bad day for you, isn't it? And
So-
she's like, it's been a bad fucking month,
Bad year.
bad year.
Yeah. So that.
And it's very interesting, like the way that we have viewed Gal's art, Finn. Considering that I'm usually very harsh on people.
You were very nice to Gal, whereas
Yeah.
I was a little bit more cynical.
I'm like,
For once. For once, the dynamic swapped.
Yeah. Wait until.
But I have come to appreciate Gal as a
Yeah.
character. I do. We talked about that when, yeah. So, I'm interested to see where it goes next.
I wonder where the Soikin lady is.
Oh. Jahan? Or Velko? You talking about
Yeah.
Velko? Oh, she's in the mainline Star Wars comic. She's in the mainline
doing
comic.
Okay.
As okay as she can be.
All right. Yeah. I'll take it.
She's not in it for long, but she is in it. So, so she's around.
All right.
She's just not obviously on Starlight.
Yeah. I would hope not.
Still serving the RDC.
Makes sense.
And so, I'm interested to see where this goes. We're really leaning back into the horror genre, even though I don't think these are George Mann. I think these are Lydia Kang, right?
Yeah.
I think this is Lydia, which is just like, oh, okay. Okay, Lydia, I didn't know you could write horror as well. I know George can, because that's like what he did for a while for Star Wars stuff. Okay. And so, I'm up for it, though. I'm curious to see where they go from here. Remember, though, this is all taking place before
Yeah.
the books.
Yeah. That's why I was like, I'm like, Boolin did some shit here, and then did it on like that fucking planet.
And so, yeah, this is Lydia Kang. So, I do like the cut. I like the.
Yeah, that's fucked.
It's terrifying, but it's great art. Whoever did that art. Let's see it. I'm trying to read who it says. I can't read the first name or the middle, but it's
John.
Is that John?
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to give as much credit as we can.
Yeah, because like the art, because obviously the art makes up this just as much as the writing. So like, especially for the the insider short stories, like we always get a nice cover image, and so once again, I'm trying to make sure I. Here we go. It is Jake. Yeah. Jake Lunt Davies. So, amazing art.
Good job.
Terrifying art, but amazing art. I guess I'll make sure we show it for the audience. So that way they can see how awesome. If you aren't up for weird shit...
This is your warning.
Yeah. It's... Yeah.
There you go.
That's half of it, and then the other half. Oh yeah, they even make the droid wear it because they're like, because they're not sure if it also affects, if like anything on the ship could affect biological stuff too. Which turns out, yeah, that was the right move, because they talk about how it's also on the ceilings and everything. The whatever this weird white like substance is, and so they're like, yeah. Also, is this the first time we've seen? Because I don't think we get an image of them in the...
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I like their design too. And of course we've seen Joss before. We know he's a big tough guy. But I do like everybody's design here. It's really cool. We're really admiring the art this week in Star Wars. Um, but once again, as a mostly visual medium, the art is important. So, um, this is a 9 for me.
I'm gonna give it an 8.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not against an 8. I just think that I feel like this is pretty strong. But also, we're in the middle of a long-term story, so I don't know how it will pay off. But so far, I'm on for this ride. I am sitting here. It's like a roller coaster where like I have the bar down and I'm ready to go because like I'm just in like I'm ready, and it's like it's currently on that uphill slope where you're slowly going up, and you're in anticipation because you know when you go down, it's gonna be one hell of a ride. And I think that's the direction that the short stories are going, at least for Tales from the Occlusion Zone for me. And I know for you, as somebody who enjoys the horror subgenre of things, I think you are also in that ride with me. So you are also in anticipation.
Mold. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, it's some sort of mold, yeah. Or is it? Because we don't know. And they're probably going to take some of it back and test it, and that might not be a good idea. But we're gonna see them do it. It's going to be like Alien. You bring that thing onto the ship, and now it's everywhere. As long as y'all keep your helmets on while you're outside of the ship, it won't be as bad as Alien. Just don't be dumb and lean in towards it. It's literally how every Alien movie starts. It's like, how do I be the dumbest motherfucker?
I was thinking about, and this is no relation to Star Wars
or Alien,
but I remember me and you watched like a lot of the scary movies like a while back, right?
Mm-hmm.
This was one of the more recent ones, I think.
Is this about Scream?
Yeah. Either Scream or... The point I was going to make is, do you remember when they're in the car and she's going to take the mask off, and I'm like, the gun is right there.
Yeah, this is Scream. This is Scream 2.
Yeah, I'm like, you need to take that gun. You can take the mask off later.
Not that it matters, because with Scream, there's multiple killers.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Yeah, but you can get one of them right now.
Because I was going to say all the time, but there's one exception.
Yeah.
There's one movie where that's not the rule. And then there's one movie where they go beyond the normal number.
Mm-hmm.
I had to tell you that, too, because I felt bad, because we were playing...
We play
the Guess the Killer, which I know, because I've seen the films before, and I was like, okay, this one's actually not fair, because they try to fake out. Like, so for the one where... There's one killer, I was like, okay, there's one... I let y'all know, I was like, okay, there's one killer. It's not fair if y'all try to guess 2 killers when there's one. And then for the other one, I had to be like, okay, they fake... Oh, even with that one, the one with one killer, I had to be like, oh, normally you would take that person off the equation because they fake their death. There's a fake out. Like, I think I had to say that.
Yeah.
Because I was like, there's a fake out somewhere.
In the interest of us playing this game fairly...
There was a fake death somewhere.
Okay.
And I think that happened again with the other film that had more than 2 killers. Because I was like, once again, in the interest of playing this game fairly, there's a fake death somewhere.
Yeah.
Now, I don't say where the fake death is, because then it gives away. But I do go, there's a fake death somewhere. I think I wait, though, till the end to give that... I think I waited till the end both times to give that clue, because I was like... If I said it in the moment, you would have gone, oh, it's that person, obviously. But also, if I waited till, like, if I said it at the beginning, then I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I waited till the end both times to give that clue, because I was just like, because I gave that clue, I think, because we usually wait till, like, I'm like, okay, we're in Act 3, we're in the part where they're going to start revealing. We pause the movie, and I'm like...
My favorite part of any of those films where now it's time for tables, ladders, and chairs.
where they do one final fight, but then they also monologue and explain why they're doing what they're doing. Which is probably the best. Like, honestly, it's always the best scene in the Scream film. It's the final location scene is what I do. It's like, okay, we're at the final location. Now's the time to guess. Because this is where things are going to start going wild, where more deaths are going to happen, but also where the reveal is going to be.
Yeah.
Which Scream 1 holds up for the best of those. That's the party. They have the big party, and then I plan to do a Scream video one day, though. So I'm going to save more of my thoughts when I do that.
If you're a protagonist in a Scream film, and one of your friends says, I'm throwing a party, shoot them!
Except it wasn't...
I know that's not the case.
It wasn't him. It wasn't either of the guys in the first film that were holding the party. It was...
No, it's just...
It was her friend.
It's just, we're gonna go and have a party. I'm like, nope, I'm good.
Also, we learned thanks to... Also in the sixth one, they're like, hey, you should never trust people in your friend circle. It's always the friend circle.
Yep. Especially ones that have not been vetted in the previous 2 films.
Or in this case, previous 1 film.
Yeah.
Because there was only 1 film before 6. That was like part of that particular crew. Because it kind of becomes about a different set of people by 5.
Yeah.
With some connections to what's going on in the first 4. But once again, I plan to do a multi-part video essay on Scream. I'm currently actually working on a script for that. I have ideas because there are themes and elements to the Scream franchise that are deeper than Scream is given credit for. I think, unless you're a hardcore Scream fan, because I think Scream is I know I've said it to multiple people, but for new audience members, Scream is definitely part of the top 3 of my favorite franchises. So obviously Star Wars,
Scream, and I'm not sure what the third one is.
Highlander. You should have known that one.
Well, that's what I would guess if
if I was to put a gun to your head and be like, guess.
Gun to that and guess.
Yeah, it's Star Wars, Highlander, and Scream. There's no particular order to that though. Star Wars probably number 1 though, but outside of that,
I would imagine.
Outside of that, there's no particular order. And so I'm
gonna, once again, this is unrelated to all of the other stuff we've been talking about today. I'm in a weird case with horror, when we sit down and watch it, where not necessarily scared by it,
but it's still entertaining.
Yeah, it's very entertaining. But hanging out with you and Britt the other day, while we were watching the Haunting ofs.
Oh yeah, and Black Butler and stuff like that. Yeah,
me just having no reaction to ghosts jump scaring people. I'm like,
I think once I get through Highlander with Britt, I think I want to do X-Files.
Oh, great!
Because as I'm watching, I'm like, this might actually be up her alley because she likes supernatural. So I think it kind of works because X-Files is more Monster of the Week with a little bit of long-term story arcs, much like Supernatural. And so I think it would be an interesting thing. But we're gonna finish Highlander first. Yeah. We're gonna do all of it, by the way.
Oh boy,
all of it,
including
the animated series and the anime and the all the spinoffs. But currently, we're in the longest of them, which is the TV the main TV show. So
might be a while to the second one.
Yeah.
A true cinematic masterpiece.
Yeah, it's gonna be a while till we hit the far-flung future of 2019. It's my favorite joke. But I mean, for the time of when Highlander 2 came out, it was still a good time away. It's the same idea as with Blade Runner being set then. Blade Runner's also set in 2019.
Man, people back in the day were like, man, the future's gonna be crazy. I'm like, it'll be crazy, alright. Just not the way you think.
And then what, Back to the Future Part 2 is 2015, right? So, yeah, anyways,
Yeah.
we're rambling
We're
now.
rambling.
It's what we do on this podcast. We didn't have a ramble section today, so we rambled now. Uh, normally we ramble during the what have we been up to this week,
Yeah.
but
It goes news ramble.
Well,
What have we been up to?
it's what have we been up to? Ramble, news, main topic.
Yeah. But today's main topic was kind of short, so we're
Rambling now.
having a bonus ramble.
Yeah. But yeah, if you like what you... Yeah, that's it for this week. If you like watching us hang out and talk about Star Wars or whatever, because that's essentially what this is, since we have no other podcast, this is our Star Wars and whatever we feel like podcast. I've been your host, Caleb. Be sure to like, comment, follow, subscribe to us. You can find us at Escape Reality Films on YouTube, Twitch, Kick, and TikTok, which currently... The Twitch stuff, the streaming side of it, I am going to be starting, like I said earlier, I'm going to be starting Vice City proper, the definitive edition, pretty soon as I'm going through my Grand Theft Auto rundown for the year, because I plan to do all of them until next year, which it's probably going to be late next year when 6 comes out, and then when that comes out, we'll play that. I do also have the next game after I get through the Grand Theft Auto games scheduled, which is South Park: The Stick of Truth. And because I did finish Mass Effect a month ago. And
how did that go? Sorry, we're doing the outro right now.
If you're wondering,
Go watch
I
it.
got the, go watch it. I picked my ending. I actually got the ending I wanted, but then as I thought about it, I was like, I kind of want the other ending now. But I got the ending I wanted in terms of what color or ending do you pick, Shepard. So now the only Mass Effect game I haven't played is Andromeda. But we'll pick up that whenever, because that's part of the random games that I play. And so South Park 1 for the next one. But that's after we finish Grand Theft Auto as a whole. Probably we'll play South Park before 6 comes out. Probably we'll get South Park: The Stick of Truth run before GTA 6. But yeah, you can also show your support for us by joining our Patreon, which is at Escape Reality Films. Shout out to Jennifer Brantley. Woo! There you can watch our YouTube content before it's publicly available. Also be sure to check out our Discord, which is also linked wherever you are watching, so you can become a part of our community. Game I've been streaming. Thought about that. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I'm still trying to finish it. So that's one that only the Twitch stream gets as a stream, but then I upload it to YouTube like the next day. So it doesn't go on Patreon, but if you watch the Twitch, you'll get to watch it live. You can also find me on Twitter. Well, now it is officially X, because they finally switched the... I was going to say... Yeah, they finally switched the URL to x.com. So it is no longer Twitter. I was calling it Twitter still because they did not change the URL. So to me, it was... you know what? I'm still going to say Twitter. It's at Escape Reality 94. And you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at caleb.lockwood. Seth, we have D&D friends that we want to plug.
Yes.
While you are no longer part of it.
While I'm no longer a part of them, it's very worth the watch, in my opinion. When we get our audio to work.
Yeah. Oh, did they have audio?
They had audio on the previous one, but the most recent one, it's cleared up. They're a little bit quiet, but if you turn it on full blast, you should be able to hear them fine. Holy shit, were they ready for the get back. They ran a guy over with a cart. They set him on fire. Every Sunday, 5 to 7 Central Standard Time, Trials of Naboo at the Steam Dungeon on YouTube. It's a good time.
Yep.
Go watch it.
And you can watch them live, and then if you can't catch them live then they got the VOD. All right. So, yeah, go check out our friends. We love everybody there, and show your support. Yeah. Let them know that we sent you. Once again, though, thank you all for watching. Join us next week as we do another comic.
Oh.
This time, we are going kind of forward from the High Republic, but we're going back from where we are in the timeline, as we have a Phantom Menace 25th anniversary special comic one-shot.
Oh, all right.
So, that's what we're going to do next time. I have spoken.
Yeah. Y'all be safe out there.